Thank you very much for all the compliments. But it has been, you are right, it has been quite a journey. Uh, I was not born with thick skin, but since the journey has been such a roller coaster ride, that in the process I developed a thick skin, because the only thing which was always there in my mind was what I wanted to do. So whatever I have done was to empower myself so that I could be part of a film like Joram or Bhosle or Aligarh or Gangs of Wasseypur, all of these things. And I'm so happy and thankful to God that He has really made it sure that I get all of what I wanted to do after 30 years. So, if it happens today, I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying your love. I'm enjoying your respect. But, it's never too late if it happens, right?
You are busy with Hindi, OTT and South Indian movies also, Telugu, Tamil and all, but not in Kannada. We are expecting you to be in Kannada also. So when can we expect that?
You said the right thing. I could never get an offer which was far, exciting enough. But I have seen, lately I have seen a few of the film by Shakti brothers. And I would love to be part of something like that. And if they don't offer me anything, I will try to make it in Hindi. Something, based on the process that they choose to do. Since the time I have seen Kantara, since the time I have seen few more films, I must tell you that Kantara completely blew my mind. It was just surreal for me. Kantara doesn't leave my mind. Like Garud Gamana doesn't leave my mind. There's so many other films, they don't leave my mind. And I always think, how come they are making they are connecting with their audience, through the folk tales, through the local stories. Why can't we do it? So I'm always looking out for stories which are the folk tales from, say, Bihar or from UP. So few of your films have really encouraged me, inspired me to not only to be part of those films in Hindi, but also if I could really produce them in Hindi. So even though I have not worked with Kannada movie, but Kannada movies lately have been really inspiring quite a lot.
Since you are an NST student and a theatre background, what made you to choose these kind of intense performance-oriented roles?
I love performance. I love it when there is a solid story. Just doing a mainstream film where there are only action sequences or some romantic sequences, and there is not much happening. Okay, when I don't get to see a character, when I only see a persona, I get bored. I have to have something very solid to play or perform.
Manoj, Lokesh from News First. I have two questions. Someone please start it. ಸರ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಏನಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಈ ಸಿನಿಮಾದಲ್ಲಿ ಮುಖ್ಯವಾಗಿ ಆದಿವಾಸಿಗಳು ಮತ್ತೆ ಇದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಅಂತ ಒಂದು ಆದಿವಾಸಿಗಳಿಗೆ ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಅವ್ರ ಮೇಲೆ ಕೇಸ್ಗಳನ್ನ ಹಾಕಿ ರಾಂಗ್ ಫೈಲ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಅದರ ವಿರುದ್ಧ ಏನಾದ್ರು ಹೋರಾಟದ ಒಂದು ಕಥೆನೇ ಇದೆ. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಶಾರ್ಟ್ ಟ್ರೈಲರ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ಸಂವಿಧಾನದ ಕೆಳಗಡೆ ನೀವು ಕೂತಿರುವಂತ ಒಂದು ಅದ್ಭುತವಾದ ಒಂದು ಶಾರ್ಟ್ ಇದೆ.
So firstly, I'm a huge fan. Secondly, the question that sir is trying to ask you is the depiction of the tribals and the minority groups in that movie. There have been instances recently in the past where these cases have been come up against these groups and how there have been cases or allegations against them. So he wants to know your take on this, and also later in the description, there's also one scene of yours that is portrayed with these minority groups. So do you have anything to say about that?
Look, we are.
You also mentioned the Constitution Board, right?
I'm starting answering you, but Devashish will take it up because he's written and directed it. We are part of a society which is quite varied. Okay, our problems are quite varied from any other country. But at the end of the day, a filmmaker chooses a story that moves him, chooses a story which, or he tries to write a story where few of the, based on the questions that has been troubling him, he tries to answer those things through his story and the film. I think Devashish has been a very responsible filmmaker. He is somebody who is disturbed by, certain complexities or certain injustice that has been happening for many years in the society. He is disturbed by the divide between the cities and the villages. He is disturbed by the gap which is between two classes. So he's always been disturbed. So his stories that he writes are based on those questions, right? Yeah.
The advantage and disadvantage of working with an artist like Manoj sir for 10 years is that he answers for you and has nothing else to say. He literally has embodied a lot of things that I feel and I believe over 3 films in 10 years. This particular film, when you're saying that there have been allegations against such minority groups, I just keep trying to check myself and I keep trying to tell people in the classes where I stay, and I'm very guilty about my privilege, and that's why I try to tell these stories, that these words are part of the problem, where we create something called the mainstream in which we are living, and then we say everyone who's not in the mainstream and his voices are not represented are either minorities or marginalized or voiceless. So that perpetuates that cycle of otherizing and pushing minorities and marginalized further and further into margins, because our mainstream is growing and we are constantly eating up the margins. So that the choice of these words also creates a lot of conflict inside me. So there is, I'm not an Adivasi, I am not a minority, and I carry the guilt of that, but I also try to be very conscious that I can never crack the insider perspective of an Adivasi. So a story like this is my attempt to just bridge that gap between that section whose rights and things that they own are being taken away for something that only we understand as development. Their point of view or their take on the matter is not even asked for. Until we tell them that, okay, we have defined development and now you need it, so we will give it to you. But for that you have to sign up for what we decide is development. So it's very complex. So somewhere to just incept these ideas into the viewer by engaging, thrilling, hopefully entertaining, because this is a bitter pill to swallow, and when you want someone to swallow a bitter pill, you sugarcoat it. So it's really that attempt, it's an attempt to do that.
Manoj sir, ಮತ್ತೆ ನೀವು ಬಿಹಾರ ಸಿಟಿಸನ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದರಿಂದ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮೈನಾರಿಟಿ ಕಮ್ಯುನಿಟಿ ಮತ್ತು ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ಗ್ರೌಂಡ್ ಕಮ್ಯುನಿಟಿ ತುಂಬ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇದೆ. ಅವರ ಒಂದು ಲೈಫ್ ಸ್ಟೈಲ್, ಅವರ ಜೀವನ ಕಷ್ಟಗಳು ನಿಮಗೆ ಈ ಪಾತ್ರ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಥ್ ಕೊಡ್ತಾ ಅಂತ ಅವರ ಜೀವನಗಳು ನೀವು ನೋಡಿದ್ದೀರಾ?
Sir's question to you is, you come from a background, you are from Bihar, and Bihar has a lot of minority groups. So since you've grown up your entire life in Bihar and you've seen these minority groups yourself, does this somewhere down the line push you to be possibly taking up a role like this? Or was this something that you planned before, or was it this particular movie that pushed you to work towards a whole film that is centered on minority groups?
The actor's journey is very, quite contradictory, I would say. Since my childhood, I have seen the community, which you call minority group, living side by side, working in the fields. I have played with their children. I have been looked after by them. They were part of my household. So I have seen them from my childhood. And I can't even, I'm feeling very bad when I'm saying them. I'm feeling bad. But one thing has always disturbed me as to why the old man of the community is doing namaste to me. And that has always troubled me. When I was a child, I'm talking about that time, and that always remained with me. So yes, I have been disturbed by that kind of tradition. I have been disturbed by the marginalization that has been happening for so many years of certain communities. But I must tell you one thing, Bihar is one state where minorities decide which government should be formed.
Hi sir, Manoj sir, I am Ravi, ETV News ಇಂದ. ಸರ್ ನೀವು ವಂಡರ್ಫುಲ್ ಆ್ಯಕ್ಟರ್, ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ವಿನ್ ಆ್ಯಕ್ಟರ್ ಅಂತ ಗೊತ್ತು. ಬಟ್ ಈ ಸಿನಿಮಾದಲ್ಲಿ, ಜೋರಾಮ್ ಸಿನಿಮಾದಲ್ಲಿ ಮಗು ಜೊತೆ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಆ್ಯಕ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಸಾಕಷ್ಟು ಕ್ಯಾರಿ ಓವರ್ ಆಗಿದೆ, ಓಡೋದು, ಸಾಕಷ್ಟು ಟಫ್ ಸೀಕ್ವೆನ್ಸ್ಗಳಿದೆ. ನಿಮಗೆ ಚಾಲೆಂಜಿಂಗ್ ಅನಿಸಿದ್ದು ಏನು?
Translate. What was the most challenging sequence for you in film? My mother was from Bangalore and I have grown up with bits and pieces of Bangalore.
What was the most challenging?
His question was actually with the baby. It was correct. It's very correct.
Yes,
But
yes, please.
basically, with the baby, how did you go ahead with the challenging situations with the baby?
With the baby.
Yeah, because this is very action-packed. So you're
So,
moving around.
The answer will be a little longer, so just have patience.
Sure.
Okay. So in 2016, when Devashish Makhija has given me the script to read, I was completely blown away by the script. But the only concern that was with me is how we are going to shoot this film with 3.5-month-old baby. Because here my character is running, fighting with the baby who is always with him. And that was my biggest concern. Because somewhere I knew that babies are very fragile. Even a little bit of a very strong jerk can really put them in danger. So I had a very honest chat with him. I said, I'm completely with you, but you tell me how you are going to shoot the sequences with the baby. And assure me, and your idea or the technique should assure me that we are not going to put the baby in danger. Okay? And when the time came, and the shooting was just 4-5 months away, he started interacting with me and telling me what are the preparations that they are making to protect the baby while we'll be shooting the sequences. And that really assured me. He had 3 or 4 people only taking care of all the safety for the baby. So there were two girls, one guy. Consistently, they were always there with the baby and the family, baby's family. And now, whenever the baby was given to me for the shot, it became I used to go through so much of pain and so much of conflict as to how I'm going to perform. Because what happens that when an actor is performing in such a challenging film, actor can't afford to be away from his character. I have to be immersed in the character. I have to be there. I have to live that moment and also take care of the baby's safety. At times, I keep saying this in all my interviews. At times when I used to forget about the baby because I am so lost in the situation, so lost in the shot, and when I used to come back into my senses, I used to feel the shivering, all through my spine, because there was this lively, alive baby in your hand, and you were not present. You were somewhere else. So it was all the sequences which involved the baby were the most challenging. And there are few sequences in the climax where the guns are going right, left, center. The policemen are firing, the bad guys are firing, and this man is running with the baby in his hand. It was not a good situation to be in for any actor. There was one sequence where the blast was kept right very close to me, and the baby is in my hand. I put cotton in baby's ear, also at the same time. Because everything is so soft and fragile about the baby. If I am going to feel that sound of the blast, what will happen to baby? Because her membranes are very fragile. So those little things we've really taken very good care of. But still, when the baby is in your hand, and if I give it to you, I tell you to take care of the baby for an hour, her mother is going for work or going to do grocery, you will be very uneasy and uncomfortable for that 1 hour, because it is somewhere, the responsibility now is in your hand, right?